Unmute.
Okay, thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Richard from the Seneca team, and today we're going to take a bit of a look at Seneca and homeschooling and how we can hopefully help you with the current situation that's going on with children being at home while they're learning. So we've got a number of different tips we're gonna look at, things you can use Seneca for, but we're also going to have a quick look at some recommendations from the Department for Education as well. Because they have some good guidance on what homeschooling should look like and some ideas. Some things I've stripped out that are very basic, things like making sure people have a nice place to work and things like that. I think are probably a bit patronising to talk about, but there are a few bits that I think are just worth mentioning briefly. And then I'll also talk about Seneca specifically. I'll show you how some of the bits work, some of the bits we have on our platform, so you can understand how those work, what they look like, what you'd expect to see when you're a child and when you use Seneca as well. Now, if you have any questions during the session, I encourage you to ask those questions in our chat on Zoom or on YouTube if you're watching that. So I've just typed in where that chat is. So if you're not familiar with Zoom, just click on that message I've just posted there, and it will pop up with a chat, and you'll be able to ask any questions you have, and I'll answer those periodically throughout the session. So as I say, let's start off by looking at this DFE guidance. As I said, I've only picked out certain bits that are important. For those who don't know, DFE, Department for Education, they are people who are who sort of minister schools from government level, if you like, and they have come up with some suggestions to sort of help parents through that. So the first one is looking at making sure that you follow the school's lead. So some information that you may not know is that during the first lockdown, there was very little guidance on what schools should and shouldn't be doing. There was some suggestions of what homeschooling would look like, but because it all happened so quickly and it was all new for everyone, it was very difficult for schools to put something proper in place, something effective and something really rigorous. So, but now schools have had time to obviously prepare a lot more. There's lots of different ways that schools use online learning and remote learning now to help with homeschooling. And they should be your first port of call for understanding what your child should be doing at school. So schools have been told they should be providing 3 to 5 lessons per day. And these lessons don't necessarily need to be a full hour of Zoom lectures or being on Zoom or anything like that, but they could just be like an introductory video for 10 minutes or so, and then some worksheets or some activities to work through. So how that looks like across different schools will vary a lot, but you'll find that there should be more in place this time. Schools also have lots of different ways of communicating with teams. I'm sure with students. I'm sure you've heard about the different ways your schools are using to communicate. But also the communication with parents as well is obviously much more important. So you may see your child using platforms like Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, or other school apps that you should keep an eye out for. And I'd encourage your children to, if they have difficulties, to get in touch with their teachers. The teachers should be there and available to support your children through that. And if you have any worries as well, I'd encourage you to get in touch. But there are a few different ways we can support as well. When you think about online learning, Seneca is something that we obviously specialise in that. I hope that's why you're here, to learn a bit about how we can support with the online aspect of it. Which brings me on to this. There are lots and lots of online learning providers offering fantastic resources out there. We are one of them. We like to think that we are the best and we're available for free. So you can start to use Seneca with your child, and we have over 500 courses available for free, and these are specific to what your child will be learning in school. So you may find that we work with, I think 5,000 plus schools, that you may find that your child is getting work set for them on Seneca. But even if they're not, you can use this as sort of extra follow-up activities for your child to focus their learning. Now, in terms of personalised support as well, there's also things we offer for free and things we offer with our premium package that we can do to support your child. Now, it's incredibly difficult at the moment to find support and access to support for a lot of parents and a lot of students. So with teachers stretched as they are, getting access to those sort of responses and guidance as children go through their work, it can be difficult. Some ways that we are able to help are through our online courses. So our online courses, you may or may not know, have access to adaptive technology. So what they do is they use the data really effectively to basically tailor the experience your child sees. So as they're going through a learning course, they will be able to get support and guidance on the different questions based on how they answer. So if you are seeing a child is really struggling in a particular area, the system will automatically pick that up and give more guidance and support around that. But on the flip side of that, if a child seems to be doing really well at their learning, then they will be pushed forward quicker to sort of more hard topics they find harder as they go. Now, the other support we're able to provide, and this is part of our premium package, so it comes with a fee, but we do have access to our tutors for instant classwork support. So if your child, say, is answering a question here and they are struggling with the answer, or if they're doing some other schoolwork and they want to get some support on it, then our tutors are now available during the day to help with that. So they're available during weekdays from 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. and on weekends from 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. And you can just click this button at the top here, top left corner of any of our courses, or you can access it through a phone app and things like that to get through to our tutoring service. And our tutoring service basically offers the option for your child to get extra support from our tutors. And that is instant. So they can ask a question, and within 10 minutes, our tutors will get back to them with a response that goes into detail like you can see on the screen now. And they'll be able to give you that support that you need. The other thing to say, and again, this might seem a little simple, but I think it's really, really important, so I just want to mention it briefly, is that during school, when students are at school, there's a lot of structure to their day. Trying to keep that structure while they're still at home is really important for maintaining their motivation, their behaviour, their learning as well. So again, one way we're able to support is through this is a part of our premium service with tutoring. We're able to provide these custom timetables for students, and these will basically be based on what it is that your child is learning in school. Our tutors will go through and create one of these timetables for your children to follow, and they just basically link to different activities that your child can work on, and they're completely 100% tailored to what your child needs to know. So that is that in terms of how the DFE guidance fits in. It's just a brief overview of what it is that's covered. It's important that I think now we look at how Seneca can actually work in practice, and I can show you a little demo of how everything works and how it all can support your child with their learning at the moment. So I hope you can all see this new screen. Please someone do let me know if you can't see that. But this is the Seneca courses page. So this is where your child goes when they want to choose a course to study. And you'll see here, we've got over 600 free courses and over 800 additional premium courses that you can gain access to. And the age groups we support on Seneca go from year 3 at age 7, right up to the end of A level at age 18, and everything in between. So your child can go on here and say they are a Key Stage 3 student. So that's years 7, 8, and 9, age 11 to 14. They can come in here, they can study they can look at the different subjects they want to study. We cover 25 different subjects on Seneca, so it's not just your English, math, science. We do MFL and also modern languages. We do history, geography, food prep, DT, all these extra subjects that you wouldn't necessarily associate with an online platform like ours. We cover them. So the chances are that we cover the subjects your child is learning in school. And they can come in here and say they want to do, let's say, learn some geography, for example. They can choose to one of our courses, and they can come in here and start studying anything that they'll find in their GCSE, in the courses that are taught in their school. So, for example, rock types, very exciting subject, as you can imagine. The UK's rock types, but something they learn in school, and they can go through the content to learn the different types of rock that there are, and all the information that they need to know at this age group is here. And then they can go through and answer questions based on the information they've seen. Now, this session will be adapting and changing as the child answers questions. So it will be making sure that the questions are asked at the right level to make sure your child is learning as effectively as possible. So you'll see there's a lot of different variety of how we display the information and ask the questions. We don't just ask questions in one specific way. We give lots of different examples. So that's an example of what one of our courses looks like. Now, you as a parent, this is obviously great in terms of supporting learning and helping your child to learn as effectively as possible. But we also want to provide you with the option to understand how your child is learning, understand how you can support your child in learning as well. So I know a lot of online platforms will provide some data to teachers. We also think it's really important that you as parents also have access to this data. So we've created parent accounts, which are available, again, for free. You can just create one of these accounts by going to our website, going to senecalearning.com and creating a free account. And you'll be able to basically add your child to your account. And you'll be able to see basic data like how well your child has been doing on different courses that they've studied, how long they've spent studying on different courses, how many sessions they've completed, how many correct answers they've got, things like that will enable you to understand how well your child's learning is developing, and then have better conversations with your child about their learning as well. So something I know from talking to the different family members who are at school is that it can be quite difficult to understand specifically what's going on in a child's education, because they don't like to talk about it, or people who I have experienced talking to don't like to talk about it anyway. So this gives you more of an understanding and an idea, a starting point for a conversation, really, to have an idea. You can see here, okay, there is a section on English literature, Christmas Carol. My child here is averaging 6% in their sessions. There's obviously an issue there. I can start to think about how I can support my child more effectively knowing that information than if I didn't know that information. And you can see different bits of stats here. So you can see here I've got 2 children linked on this. So if you have multiple children, that's fine. You can sort of see all their data in one place. And you can also change the date range. So you can see what they've been up to today, the last 24 hours, the last 7 days, last 30 days, and last year. Or you can set sort of a custom date range as well. So whatever it is you want to see, you can do that. And it's very simple to set up. Like I said, you just go to senecalearning.com and create a free account. And to connect to your child, you just need to click this Connect to Child button. And this pop-up comes up, and there's a few different ways you can use this. You can either copy this and sort of share it with your child in any way, or you can email it to your child or WhatsApp it to your child, and that will basically just create a link. And if they click on that link and accept your request, then you'll be able to see their data. So it's all very secure in terms of the child needs to give access to the parent to see the data. And you can't see anyone else's data without their permission, but it allows you to really feel part of that learning process. So that's basically all I wanted to share with you in this session. I've talked a little bit about how we can support you for free. I've mentioned a couple of things we offer with our premium packages as well. So yeah, there's a few different options there for you to sort of take this forward and start using it with your child. And what I'd suggest is if your child isn't a user of Seneca, start them off on the free courses, see if they like them, and if they're finding that they need extra content or extra courses, then maybe, or extra support from our tutors, then maybe start to think about the premium options as well. But all the courses that we provide for free are very high quality and very good. So I'd encourage you to sort of use those as well. So I'm seeing a couple of questions start to pop into the chat, which is great. I'll get to those in 1 second. If anyone else has any questions that they have on anything I've shown you during this session, or anything else about Seneca more generally, I'm really happy to sort of field those. So now's the time to start populating that chat while I just go through these first few questions. So a question from David says, will you be covering the difference between Seneca and Discord when signing up? I was also sent registration for Discord and was asked how to register our child. So to explain that, David, the Discord is a different app that we use to deliver our tutoring service. I've actually got it up here, so I may as well show you while it's here. So the way our tutoring service works, like I mentioned earlier, it's this ongoing instant support that we provide for your children. So they have a question, we are able to give support for them through Discord, and we use Discord to basically host this service for us and provide the support. So if your child has, say, for example, a biology or a business, chemistry, computer science question or whatever, they just click on that topic, they ask a question, our tutors will get back to that question within 10 minutes. And that's to do with any of their schoolwork that they want to ask questions about. So, and that is available throughout the school day. So from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. At night during the week, and then from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. at the weekend. So the sort of connection between us and Discord is that we use Discord to basically deliver our tutoring service. So it is a separate app. So there's a sort of separate sign up situation, but we basically manage all the content on this, and our tutors work on this Discord. Elizabeth says, is there any news about WhatsApp? What is the alternative? So I assume you're talking here, Elizabeth, about connecting with your child. So at this stage here. So there are other options. If you don't want to use WhatsApp, that's fine. You can send your child an email, and that will generate a link to for your child. You can also just copy it if you want to use this on a text message or any other messaging service that you have, or anything else you have on your computer. You can literally just copy it by clicking copy here, and you see it says copy to clipboard, and that will basically enable you to share it with your child if you don't want to use WhatsApp. Okay, are there any other questions from anyone on the call? And I'll just pause for a minute to see if there is. Okay. Oh, okay, so here you go. Leanne says, do you cover different exam boards, for example, AQA, EdXL, WJEC, and OCR? So yes, we do. We cover all of those exam boards. We also cover the CIE IGCSE. We cover the EdXL IGCSE. We cover the. Or I'm gonna miss some if I try and remember them. Let's just go back and show you what we cover. I'll just come out of this session here. So in terms of the exam boards we cover 95% of the exams taken in the UK. So the chances are your child is supported by our courses. So here we go. We got AQA, EdXL, OCR, EduCast, WJEC, CIE, EdXL, IGCSE, and then also what's covered in the national curriculum at Key Stage 2 and 3. The national curriculum is basically it's the equivalent of an exam board, but it's for the non-exam years. So it's before your GCSEs. David asks, are you able to give an overview of the different content per topic, e.g. flashcards, exam practice questions, King schemes, etc. I saw a few hyperlearning. What is that? Okay, yeah, sure. So I'll break these down. If I just go to type here, I'll sort of talk through some of these. So this is going to be some of the stuff I talk about is available for free, and some of the stuff is available with our premium packages. So to talk about the free content first, is these courses in black text here. We have our standard courses, and the standard courses is what I showed you earlier. So a mixture of the content that students need to know when they're learning these subjects in school, and questioning on that content. So those sessions adapt to the individual to make sure that they are being delivered the content that's right for them. And so we look at the questions they answer, how well they answer them, to understand what it is that they need to focus on. We also have our diagnostic misconception courses, which are designed for teachers to use to basically understand where students have picked up misconceptions in their learning and basically hope to correct those as well. Our standardized assessment courses are also mostly aimed at teachers, but your child could use these as sort of to self-assess what they're doing. So they're kind of like end of topic tests is the best way to think about them. And then vocab tests look at supporting with French and Spanish vocab. So those are all available for free. And then with our premium courses, we offer these purple ones. So to talk a bit about a few of those, we got the predicted paper courses, which are essentially exam style questions for your child to work through on Seneca. They are provided with support from, so with like instant feedback for them, so they're learning as they go, but they're in the style of an exam paper. We've then got hardest questions courses, which gives extra content and guidance on the hardest concepts within each course, and gives new questions and different questions for students to look through on those topics. We've then got hyperlearning, and this was specifically mentioned in David's question. Hyperlearning is basically we another different type of course that we have that's much shorter, sharper, and fast-paced in terms of students getting through the content compared to our other courses. So we chop up the content in a different way, and again add new questions for students to look at and answer, and they work through those in a much faster at a much faster pace. So students feel like they're progressing much faster, which they tend to enjoy, and there are more images, more GIFs, and things like that in there. And then got hyper flashcards, which are those, you'll probably have seen those around when you've got a question on one side and then you flip it over and you've got the answer on the other. They're really good for revision of topics that you've been doing, and they provide students with ready-made flashcards to test their knowledge. The premium knowledge is supporting students trying to get a 7 to 9 at GCSE, and the 4 to 5 booster is supporting children looking at a 4 to 5 at GCSE. And we've also got driving theory courses, application to uni courses, which cover what it's like to study at university, what they should be including in their personal statements, what work experience they need, that kind of thing. And then the night before courses are designed for the run up to an exam to basically help students sort of calm their nerves, remind them some key facts and things like that in the run up to an exam. So I hope that helps, David. How we suggest using them is, if you are a free user, stick to the standard courses, and if you want to use those other types of courses for specific reasons, then feel free to do so. If you're a premium user, what I'd encourage you to do is use a mixture of both the free and the premium courses. Don't think that because you've got premium that you just don't need to worry about the free courses anymore. The free courses are really excellent and really do supplement what you get with the premium. So I'd encourage you to use both in tandem, but obviously the premium does offer a greater variety of courses. Okay, Sarah says that her child is using CIE IGCSE courses. Is there a large difference between the different types of IGCSE courses on Seneca? So the way that courses work at GCSE level is that each exam board is able to tweak the content they see, and also how they ask different questions is different. So there is a difference between each type of course. So if we're looking at IGCSE, there's two different types of IGCSE. There's the CIE, which is the Cambridge International IGCSE, and there's also the edXL IGCSE. They're basically just two companies that produce exam papers, and a school can choose which one what they want to do, but they can also choose to do AQA or OCR and these other options as well. So there is a difference, and you should make sure that your child is studying on the particular one that is taught in your school, and it can be different between different subjects. So you could have OCR for science, you could have AQA for maths, you could have edXL for geography. So make sure you try and get a list of those. Elizabeth says, what email address does my child put to link the account up? So it doesn't matter, Elizabeth. You can use any email address for your child. They can, as long as they can have access to that email address in case they need to reset their password. It doesn't matter what they use. When you then invite them with a link, they just need to log into their account through that link, and that will connect you and them together. David says, any plans to add music OCR? Could not see it in the options. Let's see. I thought we did have music OCR, David. Let's have a look. So no, you're right. Sorry, apologies. So we only did Excel. So the answer to that and other course queries as well is yes, we do plan to add all courses eventually. Obviously, this takes time. So watch this space. It's not something we're actively working on expanding the music course, but it will be something we look to do in the future, David. Okay, well, that looks like, well, if there are any other questions, do feel free to get those in. But otherwise, it looks like that is that in terms of questions from people. I hope you found the session useful, and if you do have any follow-up questions, the best thing to do is to head to our help pages. You can search for anything in there, and there's lots and lots of videos of me talking about how to do different things. So like if you want to understand how to connect to your child a bit more in a bit more detail, you can see a video of me talking about that in more depth. But the last thing to share basically is, if you don't have an account already that's a parent account, I just encourage you to go to senecalearning.com and create a parent account. But also if your child doesn't have an account yet either, then they can head there as well and create their own student account. So best of luck for this next period. I appreciate it must be very difficult for home learning at the moment, and supporting your children through that while sort of also taking on all your other responsibilities that I know you'll have across your work and your personal life. So yeah, best of luck with that, and I hope we can help. And if you've got any questions, just feel free to get in touch. Thank you very much.